Welcome back to Market Headlines. The House of Representatives approved President Joko Widodo's proposal regarding establishment of the Ministry of Investment, and the government claims the presence of this ministry is to increase the realizations of investment and create jobs.
The House of Representatives approved the plan to establish the Ministry of Investment proposed by President Joko Widodo. The approval is in accordance with the provisions of Law No. 39 of 2019 concerning state ministries, which regulates that changes as a result of separation or merger of ministries are carried out with the consideration of the House. Talking about the handling of investment, Indonesia actually already has a special agency at the ministry level, namely the Investment Coordinating Board, or BKPM. The status of the head of BKPM is also equivalent to that of a ministerial official. For information, BKPM is an institution that is tasked with coordinating policies and services in the investment sector based on the provisions of laws and regulations. Meanwhile, since 2019, President Joko Widodo has expressed his intention to form two new ministries. One thing that was conveyed was his desire to form a ministry that specifically deals with investment. Previously, the president had combined the Creative Economy Agency into the Ministry of Tourism. Meanwhile, other ministries that were merged in 2014 were the Ministry of Forestry and the Ministry of Environment. IDX Channel team reported.
Talking about the handling of investment, Indonesia has actually a special agency at the ministry level, namely the Investment Coordinating Board, or Indonesia is really well known as BKPM. And since some of you might not know well about BKPM, let's dig more about these institutions right on the next graphic. Through the next graphic, we can see that BKPM is a non-ministerial government agency, and it is in charge of implementing policy and service coordinations in investment. And also, BKPM is mandated to boost domestic and foreign direct investment, and also seek quality investments that may drive the Indonesian's economy and absorb a lot of manpower. And after mentioning that it would be changed to become the Ministry of Investment, BKPM spokesperson Tina Talisa said that this is the prerogative of the president, and BKPM is in a position to follow the president's direction. And BKPM sees the establishment of the Ministry of Investment as a very serious commitment to the president to accelerate and increase investment aimed at increasing job creations. And in statement, BKPM emphasized readiness to carry out whatever the president decides and directs. Meantime, the presence of the Ministry of Investment is expected to be able to increase investment realization in Indonesia. But how much has actually the investment realizations been in recent years? So let's see the data in the next graphic. Here it is through the next graphic. We can see Indonesia's investment realizations through recent years. I would like to highlight in 2019, whereas the target has lower than the realization. And one in 2020 is the same. The target set at 817.2 trillion rupiah, while the realization has surpassed in 826 trillion rupiah. And in recent years, the role of BKPM as executor of investment in Indonesia has been quite evident, as seen from the comparison of investment targets and realization. And specifically in 2020, as I would like to highlight before, in the midst of pandemic, total investment realization was still able to exceed the target, where the investment realization contributed from 50.1% of the domestic investment and 49.9% from a foreign investment. Although the achievement of investment realization is quite positive, one main thing is that needs to be considered is that how Indonesia can get quality investment that can move the economy and absorb a lot of labor. And this multiplier effect is expected in achieving investment realizations either under BKPM or under the Ministry of Investment later. And talking about labor of workers absorption, how big is absorptions from the investment realization so far? So let's see through the next graphic. Let's see 2020 data about the absorptions of workers. In the first quarter of 2020, there are 303,000 workers absorbed from investment realizations. And moving on to the fourth quarter in 2020, there was 294,000 workers absorbed from the investment realizations in 2020. And here it is, we can see the positive trend in investment realizations is deemed necessary to be accompanied by precise strategy in restoring the employment. And to do this, the government must choose the right sector that has a multiplier effect and allows for expansion. And meanwhile, this year, BKPM targets realizations of investments to reach 900 trillion rupiah, with at least 1.3 million jobs being absorbed. Of course, this can be a reference target for the Ministry of Investment, maybe even higher targets. And the plan to establish the Ministry of Investment also invites pros and cons, both from the business actors and the economic observers. What do they say about this? So let's check it on the next graphic. We can see the battle of opinions from Ajim Hamdani, which is the head of banking and finance at HIPMI. He said that the investment ministry, which is expected to break the deadlock and bottleneck investment, is a concrete step for the government to encourage debureaucratizations and create more business-friendly investment climate. While in the other hand, we got Bima Yusira, as the economist of IndiHome, that stated, what is it for being a ministry? It is not certain that investment can increase because the problem is not actually attracting potential investors through promotions, but it's more importantly about the follow-up from commitments to investment realizations. So in this case, Bima emphasized that the establishment of the Ministry of Investment indicated that the government was not confident enough about the existence of BKPM and the job creation law to attract investors. Apart from Bima, public policy observer Trubus Rahardiansyah also assessed that there is no urgency to establish the Ministry of Investment. This is because the government already has an Investment Coordinating Board and Indonesia Investment Authority, which are charged to overlap the existence of the Ministry of Investment. He said that the establishment of the new ministry would also cause bureaucracy to grow fatter and burden the state budget. And this was not in accordance with President Joko Widodo's statement, who wanted the streamline of the bureaucracy. And yes, viewers, if needed, the government realized the establishment of the Ministry of Investment, and hopefully this is not just a change in nomenclature, but it can actually have a greater positive impact on investment realizations, labor absorptions, and of course, welfare for the people. Stay tuned, market headlines, because we will be right back after this quick break.